Okay, ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, we are long awaiting the SATCOM arbitration introduction to all of you, where we're going to be focusing on arbitrations from now on. I'll explain what's going on with arbitration. Thanks to Bradley Christopher Stark. Yes, I give Mr. Bradley Christopher Stark good credit. It was a young man by the name of Demetrius who brought the Bradley Christopher Stark Act to my attention. I was a little leery at first, didn't want to pay attention to it, didn't want to read it. And I took the time, after some coaching, to read the document, and I understood exactly what they had done. Now, someone sent me an email communication telling me that somebody's talking about me. I don't read emails like that. I don't care what people have to say about me. Okay? And you don't understand. I'm getting ready to go after those attorneys and those courts and those individuals who want to sit up there and talk about me online. I let it go for so many years, but I'm not in the mood to let it go anymore. I just had to get back to the people, so to speak. So I've been focusing on you all and not so much on making sure people understand. Oh, by the way, sorry, side note. People were talking about the volume. I can't do that. I've already deleted all of the drivers on my computer. I've changed headsets. That's not me. Okay. I'm working on it. And so I've already checked the volume before doing this video. So if we do, then I will continue to work on it. Apologize because it's the things they do. I can't help that, ladies and gentlemen. They think they're bothering me. They're not bothering me. And if it ain't bothering you, I'm giving you the GPTs. I'm giving you the subject matter. Do your research. Okay. Give you a case in point, then we'll move on. There's a young lady I did a consult with her yesterday, um, and I did a video talking about it. But all I did was ask her in a pre-consult, because I give pre-consultations. I said, young lady, I need you to go down to your county recorder's office and I need you to find your certificate of satisfaction. Now, although you're not going to find it because they've hidden it from you. That's why I talked about doing a public records request, but she found hers. The bank has no standing because that's from the bank. And it's certified because it has a notary seal. And it has the county recorder certification seal on it. They can't touch that. That's irrefutable evidence that she doesn't owe a dime. And now we worked out all the documents. She had about 25 documents. I'm not joking, about 20 documents. I'm not kidding. 20 documents to go at them in whichever angle she wanted to. Now, she isn't one of my long-time so-called viewers. She's just somebody who found me a month ago, 2 months ago, because that's how people are finding me. They're doing research because Google's algorithm is not going to let y'all know where I is. And I don't care. I'm not advertising on Google. I don't care. If you build it, they will come. Not been another better movie than Field of Dreams with Mr. Kevin Costner. And that phrase, if you build it, they will come. All I can tell you is I understood. And I've been operating under that model since I heard that movie. It's like when I saw Star Trek 2, the last couple of minutes, the last 10 minutes of Star Trek 2, the Wrath of Khan, and Mr. Spock is on his way to dying, and he's going to be sent out into space, and he's going to be space debris. Anywho, when he said the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. I've never forgotten the phrase. I paid attention to that. Now, mind you, I have watched Star Trek The Wrath of Khan because it was the best Star Trek they've ever made. Okay? Best Star Trek they have ever made. All I got to do is let you know. Go back and look at it. You will see. And those of you who don't understand when we say the best one that's ever been made, note for the time period and note the storyline. Because Khan was no joke. And Montalban played around Percepto. Anyway, a lot of stars in that particular episode. A lot of many people may not recognize them because they were stars in their day. They're not these little fly by night stars you see today that ain't got no skills whatsoever. Can't act the same, back to the reason why I'm doing this video. Whew, Lord have mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, the arbitration. What I decided to do for each of you is I decided to create a trust. You decided to create a trust with that because you created. Well, I'm using this software called Z.ai, and it's helping me create my trust. But what it's doing, pay attention, this is very important. This is giving us the details and all of that stuff. But I got to get him because he's just working on it. He ain't doing a good job of working. But this is the notification to the companies, and so forth. We're working on it right now. Pay attention. A letter is notifying them that they're interfering with trust property. So let me show you guys what trust property is and what it is not. You don't mind? Oh, he's working on it too. He's putting together a PowerPoint. This is Claude. Oh, I am multitasking. Y'all really do need to understand. Claude is putting together proof of trust elements and facts and conclusions of law. He's letting you know that this is a bona fide trust, and he put it in a PowerPoint. And he explains it. You guys will have access to it. You don't have access to the trust, the creation. Um, that's going to be no. This is a separate trust from the mega trust and all the other second trusts. This is a particular trust that secures, in addition to the mega trust, they already have these features. So you're a mega trust side packer, you don't need this. But this trust is especially for those of you who are receiving tickets, going to court, being ordered to show up in court, being told you owe money on a debt. These companies are taking your information. Let's say you signed up for a website, your information got leaked in a data breach. Who says that you don't have recourse? Please, we're not allowed to lose your information and do whatever they want to with your information. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to make a profit off your information, sell your information just because you access the website. You guys need to understand about websites. Websites are controlled by, pay attention, websites are controlled by the World Wide Web, the internet. That's federally owned and UN owned. No state government owns the internet. The federal government and the United Nations owns the internet. Every national government throughout the world owns the internet for their jurisdiction. That's why they can control information going to and from their country. They can restrict information because they have they've given themselves the right. Because these companies receive their authority through statute, go back and look at the Civil Rights Act of 1866. It says that no one may be deprived of any right by any person acting under color and or authority of law. These companies are acting under statute, color of law. Because they're operating under statute, color of law, your rights can't be violated while they're acting under that statute. But they're private corporations. Private corporations, they can remain private. Nobody wants to take away their privacy. Close the door behind you. Nobody don't be worried about what you're doing in your private room. However, when you take my information and you lose it electronically, or you use it and sell it to somebody else and you make a profit off of it, you ain't private no more because I access your information through the internet. And I access your information through the law. And because you're operating through the internet, and because you're operating through the law, you are operating under color of law. You cannot deprive me of a right while acting under color of law. And I am part of a trust. And I give the trust full authority and control of my property. You feel me? Now watch this. Now, it's been stupid. I don't want you to change anything or add anything. I just have a question that is separate and apart from what you've just done. As the Supreme Court documented that constitutionally secured rights are property and they have a property interest associated with them? Them. Stop listening. Ladies and gentlemen, the trust res or the trust property or the trust thing, the thing that the trust governs, is your property. And because that, yes, the Supreme Court and Board of Regents versus Ross documented that constitutionally secured rights are property interests for the purpose of due process analysis, and your due process rights cannot be violated without, hold on now, the law. That's why they're operating in the color of law. So they're going to come see about me. Pay attention, inclusion law held that liberty interests guaranteed by the whatever constitutional amendment includes the right to contract, engage in common occupation, and to acquire useful knowledge. That's right, internet, to marry. You have a constitutional right to marry, so they can't turn it into a contract. Don't tell nobody. Establish a home and bring up children and worship according to your conscience, and generally to enjoy the privileges, the right, long recognized as essential to the orderly pursuit of happiness for men. The court further held that these constitutional protections create property interests for the purpose of due process analysis, meaning that the state action affecting such interests must comply with procedural due process requirements. Protecting those rights through a trust is not forbidden by law. Watch this. Protecting those rights through a trust agreement, such as the one you have here, is not prohibited in law. Stop listening. He lists 7 essential elements of a trust. What he was doing was proving that the trust that I just created has all 7 essential elements. Just created it just for this purpose. It's only 20 pages long. It was supposed to be 14, but I decided to bring in the thing about the unlawfulness of the constitutional government, where they set up there in 1933 and took everyone's rights. Where they claimed they did it lawfully. They documented that it was done unconstitutionally. See, I don't want nobody accusing nobody of being a sovereign citizen. That's why I added that to the document so that we can prove you ain't got no capacity to be calling somebody some stupid sovereign citizen, you stupid idiot. You ain't even got jurisdiction. Right? That's what I would say. You wouldn't say that. You'd say, oh, this is not sovereign citizen stuff. Right here. It's in the trust. Congress says this. Now, hold on. There's a confidentiality clause in the trust. You're not allowed to share it with anyone. So we're going to put that information in the declaration of trust, in the certificate of trust. Okay? Do not, attention, do not contact SOCOM about this. This is an EeoN Foundation thing. There is nobody for you to contact at this time. I will let you know on video when this starts. Now, look, I've been working on this for several months. I just started literally nonstop the last couple of days. I've been sitting in front of this computer, and those who've been trying to call me know it. I've been sitting in front of this computer since 6 o'clock this morning. Okay. I gave out to the dogs once. One of my stupid, the others, one of the blankets I had, and now she has got that stuff stuck someplace. Sausages. Anyway, she's got it stuck. She's been trying to hack that thing out, and I can do for you. I ain't got no scalpel. I ain't got no tool to reach down there and no little light to flash to see where it is to pull it on out of your throat. I'm not about to mess with you. That's what you get. You knew it wasn't food, and you decided you were going to be stupid. So stupid is what stupid is. Now go ahead and keep doing what you do. Won't do that no more. I got one cat that climbed up on the cage to get into the cage with the ducks and the chickens. He found a way in. I kicked him out. Told him to get his stuff back out and didn't walk him out. No, I made him go back up the way. And now he's scared and whining. Get the behind him. Because I Dumb animals. I got time. We don't teach them how to be smart. Getting back to trust, ladies and gentlemen. I have time to teach some of you how to be smart. So when I say don't contact SATCOM and don't try to contact EeoN until he says it's okay, and you do it anyway, this is my program. Yeah, you can do this by yourself. Go ahead. You already know this. You've done this before. In fact, everybody else has done this way before me. Not the first person to do this. I know it. I know you can go find some videos on YouTube that talk about this. But golly, so I got a sticker stuck outside. Be here a while. No, you to find somebody else is doing this. No, no, hold on. No, no, you guys, I understand. People are going to try to copy. I don't mind them trying to copy. It's just they don't know what I know, so they can't anticipate everything. My job is to sit here these last couple of days going through all of this and stressing myself out, anticipating everything. That's why I'm putting together a PowerPoint for you guys. Hey, why? I already knows the information. Now, this is what he says about the conclusion of law. No statute, Supreme Court decision, or constitutional provision prohibits the creation of a trust to hold and protect property interests. And because the Supreme Court said the right to contract is fundamental liberty, and it has an interest that is protected, get out of here. Nobody asked for you. It's an interest that is protected. That creates creation of a trust and this exercise of this right to contract. So it's an exercise. Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution says no state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of contract. A trust is a contract. Lord have mercy. Conclusion of law, the constitutional protection of contract extends to trust agreements. A trust created for lawful purposes is a valid contract. We're not trying to do anything illegal here. Focus on the law. Go ahead, watch every video that I talk. I'm always talking about law, whether it's God's law or man's law. I'm talking about law. People can say whatever they want to about me, but what they cannot do is challenge me on the law. I won't allow it. This is what I do. 42 years. This. That's why I can get around their little stupidity. You want to sit up there and recreate the law? Well, please go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to argue with you. Supporting authority is the maxim of law. You know where he got this maxim from? He got it from my documents because it's still there. The law compares no one to do vain or useless things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not doing this for twiddling my thumbs. I'm doing this for a reason because it's a right. When there is a right, there is a remedy. You better understand that's what we're doing. Protecting trust property. We this is not going to be. Um, I want to make it $75, but I can't because I have to pay staff. You understand? They have to do the paperwork. I'm making it easy on them by spending all this time creating the trust as I created the other trust. This will be cheaper, cheaper, much cheaper than a mega trust. Much, 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 much cheaper than mega trust. Probably 20% of the mega trust. Why? 20, 20 to 30% of the mega trust, and the low 30 in. Why? The mega trust has a lot more protections. This is not designed to be the mega trust. The mega trust has so many elements to it for you guys. Some people are just now figuring out all of the advantages of the mega trust and the Fourth Amendment trust agreements. For Fourth Amendment people, they didn't even realize what we gave them. We gave them their own trust agreement. And for all of our mega trust people and our Fourth Amendment people, well, I believe the Fourth Amendment, I don't know because the staff handled it and I don't remember what the deal was. We give them their own trust creation software so they can keep creating trust until their heart content. The only problem is, I want you all to understand this. None of you have this trust that I'm creating here. I gotta get him, he's messed up a couple of things, so I gotta get him to take care of it. And it's called the closest trust. Closest trust. It does stand for something. Common law organizational. I forgot what the spendthrift trusts are the last two. Oh, constructive express spectrum of trust. Okay, constructive express spectrum of trust. Because they keep thinking only the courts can create a constructive trust. Where's that law at? Of course, I can create a constructive trust. And he actually defines the reason why. I can't give you everything. I can only tell you what this is about. We are here because the courts operate in commerce. They trade your information all the time. They sell your information all the time, and yet you're broke. They tell you that you still own a mortgage, but you don't own anything. The mortgage company is selling your information, trading your information, giving your information to others. They're not protecting your information because they don't care about your information. There's a trust that cares about your information. And this is the interference document creation because this puts them on notice that you're interfering with trust property. You need to stop. Uh, oh, oh, yeah, because I was about to say, trustee for the estate. EeoN Foundation is not a beneficiary of this trust. Doesn't want to be. Doesn't need to be. This is your property that it protects. Foundation has no claim to your property. Doesn't want it. It's the trustee. Doesn't want your property. You hear me saying it on video. Don't want your property. I don't want your money. You're only going to be paying for the service. Arbitration is a different fee. Sorry, arbitration is not part of this. Arbitration is the contract that's in the trust. It's a simple arbitration. Third parties who are not part of the trust, they don't have a right to request arbitration. Well, they do have a right to request arbitration. Let me correct that. They are not parties to the trust. So because they're not parties to the trust, they don't have an absolute right to request arbitration. They must petition. And it's up to the arbitrator. Who's the arbitrator? The EeoN Foundation is the arbitrator. Grantor is the arbitrator. What? Grantor is the arbitrator. Grantor is a sole proprietorship. Grantor is the arbitrator. That's why I said the grantor is not a beneficiary. It doesn't need to be. Grantor is going to hold the positions necessary for the grantor. Oh, and by the way, this goes after the corporation. Everybody else be talking about United States Corporation. There's no such thing as United States Corporation Inc. It's not the United States Corporation Inc. Dun and Bradstreet. It is the government of the United States. The government of the United States is the corporation under Dun and Bradstreet. I paid $5,000 to get that information on them in the courts. I tried to offer it as a service to you guys, but man, there were no takers, so I canceled the account. Got what I needed out of it. How about you? Look, this is what's coming. It's not there yet. I'm working on it all weekend. You guys are out there talking to some saints person and drinking eggnog and all of that stuff. I ain't got no time for that. I'm spending the whole weekend doing this. Was at my meeting with Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower study this weekend. Okay, we're talking about putting hands together and asking for help. So, anywho, because of that, I don't have time for all of that other stuff that everybody else they have time for. I really don't. I only have time to put this information together for people to help people, and hopefully people will get it. Hopefully people will stop trying to take advantage of my time and take advantage of me. Hopefully they'll stop thinking that I am their puppet. Because as the song says, I'm not your puppet. If I agree to help you, don't take advantage of that. Okay? If I agree to help you, understand that I have no obligation to help you other than the fact that I said I would help. But I'm not going to break my neck for you. I have one person, I spent $300 out of my own pocket helping this person. Okay? And she acts like I'm going to drop everything to help her again. And I'm like, no, I've already done my part. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want you to understand something, and this is something that some of you won't get. Once you file your complaint with the trustee under this program, You have no right information after that. It's on the trustee. And any benefit that comes from that, pay attention, any benefit that comes from the trustee's actions is yours. So if the trustee decides to take them to court, oh, by the way, they can have, sorry, I added this to the arbitration. Arbitrator can allow for en banc group class action arbitrations. So in the end, if the arbitrator decides, and the arbitrator doesn't know, the arbitrator decides that it wants to sit up there and hear everybody's arbitration all at once, that's the arbitrator's choice. But the trustee would have to petition the arbitrator for that. Well, I'm sorry, you guys must understand the EeoN Foundation, sole proprietorship, is the arbitration association. It's not the arbitrator. I won't be the arbitrator over any arbitration. At least I don't see myself being the arbitrator. I do see myself being the appellant for any arbitration because there is the right of appeal with our arbitration. So I do see myself being the appeal facility, and you will have one thing going for you. As one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I cannot be dishonest. If I am dishonest, it is unknowingly because that's not what I try to do. I don't try to get over on anybody, take advantage of anybody, because nobody deserves that. Yeah, 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 yeah. In the past, I've done stupid things, but the last 30 years of my life, not a single person can come to me and point a finger. I dare you. And it is 30 years this day. Well, not this day, this year. Sorry, I apologize. 29 years. Anywho, I have made it a point every single day to improve on the person I am. So my job is not to take your money. That's why somebody wrote an email saying, "Can I donate to you?" I told them to go look underneath the videos, and wherever you find, that's what you get. I'm not here to take your money. I don't want it. I don't need your money. My God, He takes care of me. I'm very well taken care of. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of people gotten over on me. The young man who lied to me, he needed money, and I gave it to him, $32,000. But he lied to me as far as guaranteeing them paying it back. He lied. I could go after him, but why? That's $32,000. Yes, I know. I know. We have a contract. I made him sign a contract, just like the woman who has until the 31st to return the monies I gave her. She doesn't think that I'm capable of getting her attention. She thinks that she's just going to walk over me like she did all of the other people. That's the reason why she was in trouble in the first place, because of who she is as a person. Look, she's a mother. She has a child, not a baby child, an adult child. See, I treat all of you, as responsible people, mothers and fathers and people. I don't suspect you're going to be conniving. I don't suspect you're going to be liars because I give people the benefit of the doubt. Sorry, that's what I do. But as I've stated before, I'll state now. I rely on one thing, the universal law. I have less than a minute. The universal law. Everyone reaps what they sow. So fine, I've reaped what I've sown. This is not me reaping what I've sown. I haven't done nothing to these people to cause them to operate in the fashion that they're operating against me. They are making themselves my enemy. So they deserve everything they get in reaping what they sow. I'm not going to intercede and stop them from reaping what they've sown because they have not bothered to reach out to me. The one guy with the $32,000, you think that he's bothered to contact me in the last 3 months? I had to call him and say, at least you could have said something. At least you could have contributed something, but you didn't do it. Well, I just don't have it. That's a lie. That's a lie. I don't see your cell phone being turned off. I don't see you without a car. Of course you have it. You have something, but you have not contributed nothing. Again, his conscience may bother him, but his conscience is not bothering him. Does that make sense? That's the way I feel. You feel me? Now look, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I got work to do. So there you go. 30 minutes of nothing. Have a good day, everyone.